And joining me today is the dynamic duo of Ashley and Jonathan Mast, coaches for the Liberty Women's Ultimate Frisbee team. Coaches, thanks for sitting down with me today.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you for having us.
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about the upsetting end to your guys' season. I know COVID put a big damper on what you guys wanted to accomplish in the spring. Kind of talk about the emotions that the girls and the team went through, just having to hear that their season had to come to an end.
All right. We ended, mid-March, right after we had won our last tournaments. We were starting to get some momentum into the season. So we were a lot bummed to have to cut the season short halfway through. I thought we would have a pretty strong sectionals and regionals showing. But we made the best of it. It was nice to go out on a win. We went 6-1 our last event and won the tournament as well. So that was an upside to it. So all things considered, it was okay.
I think to come out on a win was a good way to end the season. We won the tournament. We only lost one game that tournament, and then ended up beating the team that we had lost to in the final match. So it was the girls, I think, really started to come together in terms of how they were playing. They were sharpening their skills. Their fundamentals were getting better. We were really becoming a cohesive unit, I think, and to end on that note was, I think, disheartening for them, just because we watched all the hard work that they put into the season and the sacrifices they made and the improvements that they were making and the growth that was happening and the bond that they were creating as a team, and so that was a disheartening end to the season. But the fact that we came out on a tournament win, it wasn't an easy win, it was a win where we really felt like they were showing their potential as a team, and we won the way we wanted to win. We didn't win because we were playing a team that was easy to beat and we were playing sloppy, but we were still coming out on top. They really started to build as a unit. So even though the end of the season was disheartening, that aspect of it, I think, helped ease that disheartening.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. The last time I got to come and film and interview both of you guys, you had talked about making another strong showing at the regional tournament, and that was obviously cut short. As coaches, seeing them put a lot of hard work in, your girls putting a lot of hard work in this whole season, how disheartening was it for you not to see them go to that regional competition? And I think that had been your 7th time going as a team.
Yeah, that would have been, we've made 6 years pass, that would have been our 7th, it's hard to quantify it in any kind of way, but we were thinking that we had conversations about maybe breaking our record. I think we've tied for 5th twice in the past 6 years, and so there was conversation about maybe being in that same area. And in our region, normally it's the first, sometimes the second team that ends up going to nationals. So out of the 16 teams that go to regionals, only 1 or 2 go to nationals. So it's really hard to. It's very competitive to get into nationals, let alone, very difficult to get into the top 5 at regionals, let alone qualify for nationals. So so to not be able to, to try to answer your question, to not be able to even get a chance to prove their mettle or test their mettle, if you will, we had done summer workouts and they're still doing that. It was disheartening. It's the only way you can really say it at the end of the day. It was disheartening to not be able to go and let them see the fruits of all their labors, if you will.
And then one thing that you guys have already talked about, the March mashup was a really good starting point for the girls. You got to see them kind of do very well there and compete really well. You kind of said they had a little bit of a slow start in the beginning with the 1 loss, but the girls kind of picked up the momentum. As they get ready to come back in the fall, what are some things that you guys want to see them work on throughout the summer to kind of keep that momentum rolling and start off on a strong season next season?
I think as long as they're working on the basics of having a strong athletic base and the fundamentals of throwing and catching and being able to watch game film, because it's something that most of them should be able to do in the times that we're in right now. And so as long as they build incrementally over the summer, I think we'll be able to come back with a strong foundation and almost pick up where we left off at the end of the spring and go really strong into the fall.
Just bounce off of that, I think pretty much the same. A lot of the girls were able to, I wouldn't say channel their frustration as much as they were still hungry to play, to go into the summer. So we gave everybody about a month off, and then we developed a workout program and they've been working on summer workouts. They can do individually or with teammates. We got about 7 girls that are here in Lynchburg over the summer, and we only have a core of 15 players, 20 on the roster or so. Anyway, and so they're all keeping each other accountable, making sure they're doing their workouts, just trying to get stronger incrementally, increasing the workload that they're doing for fitness training and things like that coming into the fall, so that when August gets here, we'll have our normal tryouts and stuff like that, but we're retaining the vast majority of all of our veterans. Because of the eligibility extension, USAU did the same thing as NCAA, USA Ultimate, excuse me, that's what it stands for. Anyway, they did the same thing with the eligibility requirements or extensions, and so our then 5th year is getting her year back, so that's nice. We'll retain Victoria Dismore, as the girl I'm referring to, and one of our captains, Bethany Fowl. So anyway, and then we're getting a bunch of new recruits with a lot of experience, which is a rarity in our sport. It's a younger sport, and there's not as many established high school programs. So this is a long answer to your question, but I think that we've done a pretty good job of managing what we could in terms of disappointment and whatnot, and our girls were still hungry to play, and so I think that they're going to be, like, they nicknamed their little group me chat Nationals 2021, and so they're hoping to make the best of it, and just hungry to play.
Well, again, we do apologize that the end of your season ended so quickly that a lot of things weren't able to come to fruition, but it's so great to hear just the positives that your team is going to have for next season, and the eligibility of so many different players coming back. Coaches, again, thanks so much for sitting down with me today, and hope you guys have a good rest of your week.
Yeah.
Thanks, you as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.